This is perhaps one of the most exciting clashes of the second round. We have Super Grandmaster Vidit Gujrathi on the left of our screen and 12-year-old Faustino Oro. This is very exciting because it's clash of generations. Faustino is an IM still. He's trying to become a GM. Vidit, of course, has played the candidates. So this will be a lovely clash. Vidit, with the white pieces, of course, will try to push here. Faustino is better at rapid and blitz than classical chess, is what is kind of accepted in the world of chess. So Vidit will be trying to push here. Pawn to e4 is what Vidit has opened with, and Faustino goes solid with e5. Well, Faustino, also known as the Messi of chess, he comes from Argentina, now kind of based in Spain, and he already is closing in on 2500 ELO, made his first GM norm. I think he'll get his other two GM norms very soon, and could very well become the youngest GM in the world and so on. But all in all, he will become one of the best players in the world in the years to come. We see the Ruy Lopez here with bishop to b5, and the knight comes out to f6. This is the Berlin, and Vidit goes for the anti-Berlin with the move d3. It also signals to Faustino that he's going for a fight. Now bishop c5. Notice that if you take here and take on e5, queen d4 is a double attack and a dangerous one at that. So Vidit goes pawn to c3, taking into control the d4 square, and now there is a threat to take here. So maybe you can play the move d6, but black castles. And now the point is, if you take, b takes and knight takes e5, you have the move d5 striking in the center with the king still here. That's interesting. Vidit does not get tempted by snatching a pawn. He in fact goes and pins the knight here with bishop to g5. Black bishop comes back to e7, breaking the pin. This is, by the way, Vidit's move bishop g5 is lesser played. The more common move is short castle. And now Vidit castles. In a way, one could say that Faustino's bishop now on e7 has become a bit passive than it was on c5, right? But on the other hand, Vidit's bishop on g5 is a bit misplaced as well, because you could ask a question to it with h6 very soon, and it may not be able to take here on f6. So it will have to move. h3 played by Vidit, and you can see the clock timing. He has 53 minutes. Faustino has 1 hour 29 minutes. And knight h5. What a sharp move by Faustino here. Because, okay, bishop e7. You just take with the queen, and f5 is coming up. So Vidit goes back bishop e3. And one would expect Faustino to go back to f6. But there is a very, very good move here, and Faustino finds it. This is why this kid is special. He's just so good. He's just so strong. Because generally, in order to play f5, it would take, great amount of calculation. I'll tell you why. The reason is that after bishop takes f5 here, the natural thing to worry about is g4. But Faustino has seen that bishop g6 works. Take and this pin here. And then after knight d2, you just go d5 and e4, and black is better. That's incredible, which is why Vidit has to go knight bd2 now. And he took a solid 15 minutes there to play knight d2. And he's now in a slightly worse position. Bishop g6, another excellent move played by Faustino. He goes bishop g6, opens up the rook. The knight can land on f4. d5 and e4 are on cards at some point or the other. And also on the clock, you are 30 minutes behind. So all in all, a very dominating first 11 moves by Faustino. Rook e1 played. And now maybe a good move. Yes, a6, asking a question to the bishop. I mean, generally you want to keep this bishop, but then bishop takes d3 is hanging. So Vidit decides to chop off on c6, which makes sense. Bishop takes c6. But now after b takes c6, d3 is a bit weak. The light squares could become potentially weak. So he plays his pawn to d4 in the center. Very decent move. Pawn comes up to d4. And now e4 played here by Fausti. He gains space. And now the knight needs to move. Knight h2. What's the best way to continue? Do you want to go d5, but then the knight sits in on the e5 square? So again, Faustino finds a very good move, which is queen e8. And one of the points is if knight e4, bishop e4, now the queen protects the knight on h5. So Vidit goes knight g4. He has 12 minutes only left with 24 more moves to make. Faustino has 36 minutes. King h8 played here. And Vidit is definitely under pressure here. He's definitely struggling a bit. f3 played here. And Faustino takes. E takes f3. Knight takes on f3. And how do you continue here as black? Do you put your rook on b8? I think he plays a nice move. Queen d7. And the point is rook f7, rook f8, double the rooks. Black has a very good chance of an eventual kingside attack. He goes queen d2. Now I'm actually tempted to sack here on f3. You know, this is not so silly, this exchange sack. But maybe we can wait a bit. Maybe we can wait a bit here. Faustino jumps in. Again, the best move. Maybe the knight can come to f5. Maybe there is h5. These are all possible moves. And Vidit now can go bishop g5 to trade some pieces. I'm pretty sure Vidit looks at the clock and is a bit worried. He goes knight f2 here. And now rook f e8. This is not a good move. The thing is, rook takes f3 was very tempting, I think. G takes f3, knight f5. This is all weak here. But Faustino goes rook f e8. And maybe something which I believe he wanted maybe the rook on the e file. But I'm not so sure. Bishop f4 by Vidit, attacking the knight. Faustino comes back, knight to f5. And now Vidit goes bishop g5, offering a trade of bishops. And Faustino says, I don't want to trade. Your bishop is a bit loose here on g5. I'll kick it away with h6 next. Pawn to c4, gaining more space in the center with its position, starting to look a bit more cohesive, bit more coordinated. Queen f7, but he's down to 3 minutes. 17 more moves to make. He plays b3. He's looking calm, cool, composed here. That's amazing to see with it in that fashion. Knight g3 played. And I'm pretty sure that Vidit can get a bit ambitious, but the clock timing is not in his favor. He goes bishop h4, 2 minutes 47 seconds. Knight comes back to f5, attacking the bishop. And he goes back, bishop to g5. And is Faustino going to repeat here? He does. He goes knight g3. I think for Faustino, a draw with black piece is a good result. Maybe with it, if he's ambitious, he can go bishop f4 and then put his bishop on h2. But he goes bishop h4, I think for him as well. Today has been a day which is enough. No more chess needed here. If he plays bishop g5 now, it will be threefold repetition. So he writes down the move, calls the arbiter and says, I'm going to play bishop g5. Another arbiter is being called here. It's a threefold repetition that is being called for. arbiter arrives. Vidit tells him, I'm going to play bishop g5 and I'm going to claim a threefold repetition. And makes the move. This is the right way to claim a threefold repetition. You should never make the move and claim. You should write it down, tell the arbiter, pause the clock, and the arbiter goes back to just check if it's threefold repetition or not. He goes there in the zone where, and he gets a nod from the arbiter that yes, it is threefold repetition. He comes back and says yes, it is. The players shake hands. It is a draw, and well, this is, well, maybe both players go back home with kind of a relieved thing. Maybe a little bit more ambition from Faustino at first, and a little bit more ambition by Vidit in the last position could have been possible, but time played a factor, and also Faustino, for him it's his first World Cup. He's learning a lot. He's learning rapidly, and the second game when Faustino will have the white pieces will be very interesting to see. For now, I believe it was an impressive effort by the young Argentine IM.